Hello guys, welcome to the first ever course video on this YouTube channel. We will be learning HTML. Now this is not a single video, but it's gonna be a series of videos from where you will be learning HTML from the basics to the advanced level. I'm gonna explain you everything and guide you throughout all those steps that you require to start your own HTML projects. By the end of this course, you will be creating various projects. I have also left the link in the description. Go check it out. There are the links of all the things that you need, all the text editor. If you are an Android user or an iOS user, I have left the link of the apps from where you can type the course. So it's gonna be an easy video. I'm gonna explain you what is HTML to taking you on creating a very awesome web page only using HTML, but later on we will be moving into CSS because I'm gonna bring this course once this HTML course is over. Let's get right into the video with the introduction of HTML. Hello guys and welcome to the introduction part of HTML. Let us know what is HTML first. So I prepared a short slide for everything you need to know before starting to write HTML codes. First, what is HTML? HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. It is a markup language that is used to define structures of web and design the web structure. It was founded in 1993 by Tim Berners-Lee. He is also the founder of www World Wide Web. Now moving on, let us know what are tags in HTML. You can see the two examples that I have provided to you. That is an example of a paragraph tag and an example of image tags. Tags are of usually two types. They are one with a closing tag and one without a closing tag. Like in this, you can see that ABBR has a closing tag which is defined by a backslash. Now one without a closing tag doesn't require a backslash, and you can easily differentiate it between this by saying this. Now moving on, what are attributes? Now attributes there are various kinds of attributes in HTML like ref, source, alt, value, and method, action, many more. There are different attributes for different tags. Like in here you can see the hyperlink tag has a ref tag, ref attribute, and an image tag has a source attribute and an alt attribute. Now these tags have different purpose. Ref tag links you to a different website or a different file. Source tag links you to the image source, and alt tag will show what is written, which I'm gonna explain you later on when we move into the course. Now the most popular and which can be used anywhere beside root tags and head tag are known as class and ID tags. These are used mostly in div tags so that it can be easily styled. So after this presentation, let us move on to start coding. Let's go. So to begin coding, what we require? We require a text editor. If you don't have a text editor, go download it, but if you don't want to download it, you can even use a notepad. Just you have to save the file as .html. I recommend you creating a folder in the desktop so that it would be easy to arrange all the files that you will be creating in the future. So we will start by creating our first file by naming it web, site, or anything. Remember, only using HTML doesn't make it a website. Using HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and all those makes it a website. It is web page when you only use an HTML. Now inside this we will be creating two files, that is going to be index.html and style.css, but style.css we will be doing it later on when we go to the CSS portion, but right now we're only going to work with HTML. For this I am opening my text editor Sublime Text. I have also Visual Studio Code, but I really enjoy using Sublime Text whenever I am coding with any web pages. Now over here I will click on file, then I will click on new file. Now this will open a new file over here. Now if you want to follow along with me, you can also go to the link in the description and download Sublime Text. Otherwise, you can also hold Control and in Visual Studio Code and open. That also goes same for the Atom. Now I click on File and click on Save As. Remember, whenever you create an HTML file, you always have to save it as .html. That is the most important thing that you need. And you can name your file anything, but I will name it index. That is the one of the most popular name for the HTML file. So I will just type index.html. Then you can see I typed here HTML. So this defines that it is an HTML file. Now what if I type here CSS? CSS will define that it is an CSS cascading style sheet type of file. And app will define that it is in JavaScript, and py will define that it is a Python. CPP define it is as C++. C will define it as C programming language. So there are different for different. But we will just write HTML as we are working with HTML file. So I'll just click save, and that will create an index HTML file in my desktop. Now if I come over here, you can see this Chrome logo. Now if you don't have Chrome, if you don't use Chrome, then your respective browsers icon will pop up here. So just double click on this and it will open index.html file in your web browser, whichever browser you are using it. Okay, so hope you get it. And whenever you create a new HTML file, it will show a blank page. There would be nothing, and we will move on. While we will get on to coding the website, we will slowly create different websites, all those. So now to switch, I'm going to show you a shortcut in Windows. That is, hold on to Alt and click on Tab, so that it would be easy for you to switch between all the browsers or all the windows that you have opened. So this is my basic index.html, you can see here. And inside here I will start by writing my first line of code, that is HTML. Now every time you write HTML code, it is always inside this quoted box. If you don't keep this, then the HTML code will not read it, or HTML will not accept it. So for this, we always have this HTML code. Now you all don't need to type it in Sublime Text, or if you are using other text editor, you just have to type HTML and click on Tab. Okay, I wrote double M. Click on Tab, then this will open like this. And let me just explain you. So this over here, you can see this doc type HTML. This defines that this is an HTML5 document, because doc type represent HTML5, but if you use HTML only, this is an HTML. Now this over here, this tag is known as root tag, because all other things come inside this. If there is no HTML tag, then the browser will not read the website, even though you have kept different things. Now I have left the link of 2 websites from where you can start writing code. Now in that you can write HTML tags, or it is not required, because even if you don't write body tag, it would work. But if you are using a text editor or an app, it is compulsory for you to write, otherwise your browser will not work or run the code. Now here you can see head. Head tag includes all the meta things and all the necessary things of a file. You can see there are 2 things right here. There is a title and there is an meta. Meta charset equals UTF-8. Now write in the comment what is this. Over here you can see charset equals UTF and all this. So tell me what is this. Either it is a tag or it is an attribute. So comment it down in the description. And now here it explains that for now it is not required, but when you move further while using CSS, it is required to make your website responsive. So I will just remove this, and also you can keep this or you can remove this, it's your choice. And in this title, so title is all the things that you see in a web page. Like if you come over here, whenever you open a web page, you will be able to see the respective title of the web page. Suppose over here, if I open Brainly, then you can see it's saying brainly.in for students and all those. So that is what, and we say title is. Now, inside title, whatever you type will show it in the desktop. So for now, if I type my first HTML, so I type my first HTML and control save it. Then if I go to my browsers and refresh it, you may be able to see that it is showing index instead of index.html, showing my first HTML. So now let's move on and talk about body tag. Now body tag, this is the main thing in the whole HTML file. Whatever code you will write will be written here inside this body tag. If you write the code over here, then the code will not work. So everything you write should be inside this two tags that is saying BODY, body. So now after this, let's move on and write the first line of code. Let's go. Let's write our first code. That is gonna be, we will be using, and in this episode we will be talking about headers and paragraphs. So let's start by learning what is an header. Now there are 6 types of headers in HTML ranging from H1 to H6. There is not any header called H7, and header 1 is the biggest one, whereas header 6 is the smallest one in HTML. There is also a paragraph tag which you can use whenever you want. Now if you are using Sublime text or any text editor that I have given in the description, you can just type H1 and click on tab, which will open this, and you can just click. Now this will open header 1. Now this is having a close tag. You can see it has a closing tag over here, which saying which is represented by this thing over here, that is a black slash. Now in header 1, let's type this is a header. Okay. Now one thing that I forget to mention you is that do not be confused between head tag and a tag called header. So this is H1, but there is also a particular tag called header. So make sure you don't mess up with these things. So now let's move on and see in our web browser how is it displayed. You can see this is the biggest one, so it is saying this is a header. Now if I come over here and copy this by clicking Ctrl C and move on and paste Ctrl V, Ctrl V, Ctrl V, Ctrl V. Look, I have printed it 5 times. So if I Ctrl save, Alt tab, go over here and refresh my web page, you can see this is a header. It's printed total of 6 times. Now if you want to make it more clear, let me just do this so that it is in a much clearer view. It's saying this is a header, this is a header, that is printed 6 times. Now if I want to change this to be H2, then if you are using this code editor or if you are a laptop user, you can just on hold to Ctrl D, and in this way it will select all those things, but we just want to change the 2 lines everywhere. So I'll just click Ctrl tab, Ctrl D and click 2 and H2 and done. Okay, hold up. Okay, that's done. Now if I Ctrl save it, Ctrl and go to my web page, you can see this. It is smaller. It is a lot more smaller than the first. This is a header. This is an H1. So it is a lot more smaller. So as I said, H2 will be smaller, then H3 will be more smaller. So let's do this really quick by writing all the codes to the respective header. H5, H6. So this is gonna be H6, H5, H4, H3, and finally H2 is there. So Control save, Alt tab. Let's go here and refresh our web page. You can see that this is an header is a lot more smaller. Now if I type H7, then you may be able to see an error here. Okay, so there is nothing. Tab will also not show anything because there is nothing called H7. So even if I write H7 and type hello, I saved it and went to here and refresh. it's showing hello. But as I said you, h6 is the smallest one. Now why is this h7 coming bigger than the h5 over here? That is because it is not a tag. So for this, if you want to see, there is another heading tag that you want or you can use is called p tag. This p tag defines a paragraph. So if I control save it and move on to my desktop and refresh my web page, you may be able to see hello. So this is an p tag. Now if you want to learn more about these things, you can check out World 3 School free HTML course and all those. So yeah, this was it for today's video. In tomorrow's video, we will be learning various other things that you can know and input it in your web page. And soon I'm gonna start in project so that it will be easy. So this was the first episode. Hope you enjoyed and give it a like if you want more videos. So thank you so much for watching. See you tomorrow.